Roll.
Councilmember O'Neill.
Here.
Councilmember T. Nguyen.
Here.
Councilmember Klopfenstein.
Here.
Councilmember K. Nguyen.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Beard.
Here.
Mayor Jones.
Here.
And Councilmember Bowie is absent.
All righty. Can I ask Maria Stipe to lead us in the invocation, and then Councilmember Klopfenstein to do the Pledge of Allegiance?
Dear Heavenly Father, as we gather this evening to consider the important issues of our community, we ask for your presence in these proceedings. May your hand guide the decisions made here tonight for the benefit of all. Amen.
Please place your hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All righty. Takes us on to a couple of community spotlights we have, and I see we have a lot of people in the audience here for those, so we'll dive right into 1A.
Item 1A is a community spotlight in recognition of the Garden Grove Unified School District named a 2018 California Exemplary District.
Tonight, the Garden Grove City Council is honored to shine the community spotlight on Garden Grove Unified School District Board of Education President Bob Hardin, Vice President Lung Kwok Win, Trustee Terry Rocco, Trustee Walter Moonton, and Trustee Dina Wynn, Superintendent Dr. Gabriella Maffey, Assistant Superintendents and District Leaders, high school principals from Bolsa Grande High School, Garden Grove, La Quinta, Los Amigos, Pacifica, Rancho Alamitos, and Santiago. Principal from Bell Intermediate School and elementary school principals from Allen, Cook, Evans, Faylane, Murdy, Payne, Patton, Rosita, Stanford, Warren, and Zion. May I ask all of you to please come forward. Earlier this year, Garden Grove Unified School District was the first and only district in Orange County to be named 2018 Exemplary District, a prestigious recognition awarded to only 22 school districts across the state by the California Department of Education. Additionally, 11 elementary schools in Garden Grove Unified School District were named 2018 California Distinguished Schools, a top honor for the state's most inspiring public schools that demonstrate significant academic gains in narrowing the achievement gap. The 11 elementary schools are Allen, Cook, Evans, Faylane, Murdy, Payne, Patton, Rosita, Stanford, Warren, and Zion. According to the district, Garden Grove Unified School District has more schools on the 2018 California Distinguished Schools list than any district in Orange County and any comparable district across the state. The honor recognizes schools that show the highest academic gains in state tests and schools with successful climate and culture initiatives. California's distinguished schools are considered models with successful practices that other school leaders hope to replicate. For the first time ever, all 7 Garden Grove Unified School District high schools were named to U.S. News and World Report's elite ranking of America's best high schools. U.S. News and World Report analyzes more than 20,000 public high schools across the country and awards gold, silver, or bronze medals to the top 5,948 public high schools based on performance on state assessments, graduation rates, and college readiness success. Garden Grove Unified School District high schools, Bolsa Grande, Garden Grove, Los Amigos, La Quinta, Pacifica, Rancho Alamitos, and Santiago received a top state and national rank and silver medal. Wow. La Quinta High School, for the first time, also ranked in the top 100 high schools in the state. Among Orange County school districts, Garden Grove Unified School District has the most schools on the elite list, said Superintendent Dr. Gabriella Maffei. Bell Intermediate School was named to the 2017-2018 Schools to Watch Taking Center Stage program, a top honor for high-performing middle schools by the California Department of Education. At this time, the mayor and city council would like to present Garden Grove Unified School District's Board of Education, Superintendent Dr. Gabriella Maffei, Assistant Superintendents, district leaders, and the school principals with a gift and certificate of appreciation in recognition of their hard work and their high rankings. Congratulations.
Oh, my goodness.
Is this the main?
Oh, my. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
That's lovely.
Okay.
Oh,
That's pretty amazing. Beautiful.
that is lovely. Thank
Okay.
you. Go Rancho Santiago, Garden Grove High School.
Yeah.
Oh, Kelly's gonna get.
Gabriella, congratulations. And I think we got Belle coming up next. I told my daughter all about it.
Okay. Okay.
I know. You got your father lived in the neighborhood that I was in for 10 years. Yes. I was principal.
Just give me that floor.
16 years. So, yeah.
So they're gonna do Bell separately,
Okay.
and then they'll have you speak up.
Okay. Okay. Hey, Stephanie. Good.
Isn't it beautiful? Thank you. This is gorgeous. I want to get my fingerprints on this. Thank you so much.
Hi, how are you?
Your children's schools were among those names, right? Your kids' schools are.
Yeah, we're gonna get a photo. I think we're getting a photo.
before you guys come.
Can we do
Let's all come up here and do a photo.
Okay.
If you'd like to say a few words.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna say hi to Len. Yeah.
First time I stood. Where's Steve?
Well, just stand on the front.
That's I wanted to get a picture of the stool. Standing next to John.
What do you need me to do? We'll say some weird word and James will be like,
I mean, we're still being recorded on camera, so. Maybe do pay attention to that.
sure.
You got it? Pretty good? Yep. guys. Yep, sounds good. Yep, bye. Thanks.
Really, you want this? Actually, I'll hang on to it here for a second. Oh, okay.
Do you want to wait until item 1B after the community spotlight? Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And now we'll move on to 1B.
1B is a community spotlight in recognition of Hilton D. Bell Intermediate School for being designated as Schools to Watch, taking center stage for 2017-18.
So to top off the last achievement, we now have, the City Council is very excited and honored to recognize Bell Intermediate School for being named 2017-18 Schools to Watch Taking Center Stage, a top honor for high-performing middle schools by the California League of Middle Schools and the California Department of Education. Would Principal Melissa Patterson and Assistant Principal Angie Bayless please come forward? Schools to Watch Taking Center Stage is a statewide program. Each year, the program identifies middle schools that are academically excellent, developmentally responsive, socially equitable, and structured for success. Schools selected met the unique challenges of their student populations and share a strong ongoing record of student achievement. Bell Intermediate School adopted a school-wide focus on closing the achievement gap, offering extensive mentoring for students, and after-school tutoring programs for math and literacy. Earlier this year, Bell Intermediate School was honored with Schools to Watch at a ceremony in Sacramento and was also recognized as a National School to Watch in Washington, D.C. At this time, the mayor and city council would like to present Bell Intermediate School with a certificate of recognition of their achievement and success in helping students achieve high academic standards. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. It's an honor really to represent the hard work of my staff and the support that we get from the district level, the great professional development and the focus that they allow us to have to really address our students' needs. And so it's just an honor to be a part of the team. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, it was sitting there a minute ago. Mr. Mayor, council members, staff, and our district staff here. On behalf of the Board of Education and the district staff of over 5,000, it's an honor to be here tonight. It's truly an honor. With, I believe, 4 homegrown GGUSD grads sitting up here on the podium. Yeah. It is an honor, and I want to thank you for taking the time this evening to join with us in celebrating our recent accomplishments. It's been a great year to be president of the board. It's been a great year to be in the Garden Grove Unified School District. While we serve students from 7 different communities, Garden Grove's our home. Always has been, always will be. There are over 5,000 employees working in our district, hundreds of whom were homegrown and live here in Garden Grove, who we celebrated earlier this year, who contribute every day to our success. There are several community organizations, community partners, including the Boys and Girls Clubs, United Way. I could give you a long laundry list of organizations that have partnered and come alongside us every single day to meet the needs of our kids, without whom we absolutely would not be where we are today. And then there's the city of Garden Grove, partnering with us over the years to meet the needs both of the children in our schools and the greater needs of the community as a whole. In the past year, our success has been acknowledged through a series of awards that we're celebrating here this evening. Those awards validate what we've known, what people sitting behind me have known for a long time. That Garden Grove's a great place to live, that Garden Grove is a great place to raise a family, and that GGUSD is a great place to send your kids to school. On behalf of the entire GGUSD family, I want to thank you again for recognizing our accomplishments this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob, for those words, and I'll just add that we're very blessed that we have such a positive and healthy relationship between this city and this school district, and that's not the case everywhere around. So we're very lucky to have that, and it behooves us all to continue nurturing it and moving it forward and heading into the future together in a positive direction, which both the city and the district are doing. So it's a very exciting times for Garden Grove. Anyways, thank you all for being here. Okay, we'll take a break just for a minute because you guys probably want to roll.
Thank you. Thank you.
I know, huh?
Congratulations.
Send it to you. That's so awesome. Internal use only. I know, right? That's awesome. It's classic. Okay, we will now reconvene and move on to oral communications. I do have several cards, starting with Maureen Blackman. Where did she go? Oh, okay then. Charles Mitchell.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council and staff. It's appropriate that on this date, September 11th, that we honor and remember those we lost at the World Trade Center and in Pennsylvania. But in a larger sense, there is a lot of our history that is not being remembered. That's why I am proud to be a member of the Freedom Committee of Orange County. This is an organization that meets the second Wednesday of every month at 11:30 at the Church of the Redeemer on Fairview, right across from the college. The members of this group go out to the schools. These are all veterans who tell the kids about their experiences, what it was like to serve your country in war or peace, and how it affected their lives, and to give the kids an appreciation of the sacrifices a lot of these people made. So if you're available tomorrow at 11:30, the public is welcome. We'd love to have you come. We always have a great presentation by one of our veterans talking about their experiences going all the way back to World War II. Some served in Korea, some in Vietnam, some in the Gulf. They have all served their country with honor and are glad to tell their stories. So if you can make it, come to the meeting tomorrow at 11:30. Bring your own lunch, but we have coffee and cookies. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. Nicholas Dibbs. Yes, okay, Maury, you're up, baby.
Hi there, good evening, everyone. I don't feel like we should be doing anything today except sitting at home in a pile of tears, but we'll move forward. I want to acknowledge the heroes that we turned up on September 11th of 2001. The stories this morning that I kind of just wandered into really brought it all back home. So it's a day we'll never forget. As my brother says, it's our Pearl Harbor. But moving forward, I wanted to address, let the community know about the Garden Grove Neighborhood Association and the Downtown Business Association's candidate forum on this Saturday. Our doors will open at 11. I'm proud to say that almost every candidate except one is unable to attend. And that really says to me that the community and the candidates recognize the fact that this is something the community needs. So I'm happy to see that. Also, I'm really happy, as my mother says, if you feed them, they'll come. So the fire and the police are both doing a little something that we build as Fire and Ice. The fire is going to do a taco event, so they'll be serving tacos for the day. And then the Police Association will be doing shaved ice, hence the ice. And Hometown Buffet has also donated 100 cookies. Now, if we could just get some coffee, we'd be in business. 7 Lee's. Sorry. But anyway, we're very excited to do this. It's going to be at the courtyard. It will be this Saturday at 11 o'clock. The doors will open. I'm going to post on our Facebook page a list of events and the races that are in it, so that if you can only come and attend your race and then go out and eat, please do. But other than that, I really welcome the community to come out and hear the candidates. As I had said, it's not a gotcha moment. It's really an opportunity for the community to just meet the folks. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Maury. Nicholas Dibbs.
Mayor Jones, members of the council, city staff, citizens of Garden Grove. My name is Nicholas Dibbs. I live in Area 1, but I want to comment on a couple of things. First off, very few citizens are aware, as in asking around, talking to people or whatever, very few citizens are aware that the city council and the staff or the staff has prepared reports, but that the council is considering privatizing, not privatizing, but farming out our city fire department to the Orange County Fire Authority under agreements or contracts. And I'm against that. I think we need to keep our fire department here. But the main reason I'm speaking to you tonight is to suggest that the council ask staff to submit in the water bills and in the city newsletter and on the website, public feedback from the citizens of Garden Grove, asking them, do they want the fire department to be turned over to the Orange County Fire Authority or to remain within the city? And there are obviously pros and cons. I remember years ago when this issue came up with the water department. Should the city turn the water department over to a company or to another entity? And I spoke up at that time years ago against that, and I'm speaking up again against losing our city-operated fire department to the Orange County Fire Authority. As I understand it, I believe the cost savings is not very much. Perhaps it even costs more to do it. But by maintaining control of our fire department, integration with the police department, and so on, I think it's better for the citizens that we have our own fire department and so on. But that's one person's opinion, my opinion. But what I'm actually asking you to do tonight is to ask City Manager Stiles and staff to submit comments from the public, from the citizens here, on the website, in the water bill newsletters and so on, the water bill inserts, and asking the people of Garden Grove to weigh in on this. So that's one point. Then I want to congratulate Tom Schultz on retiring. I think the city is sad to lose him, and as well as 50 other people that are going to be retiring or so, approximately 50. So quite a few are taking the golden handshake, and there's pluses and minuses to that. We're losing a lot of qualified people. So congratulations, Tom, on your imminent retirement, and I hope that you leave Garden Grove with the fire department staying in Garden Grove. Secondly, I want to, there's a young man I went to high school with. We both graduated from Pacifica the same year, Mr. Bob Higginbotham. And Bob is currently with the city in the water department as a customer service worker. He started with the city in 1988 and has been here 30 years, and today he had a retirement party. So I happened to run into him downstairs here at City Hall today. I had to go into the planning department for something and ran into him. And so, Bob, congratulations. We're going to miss you working here in the city, but I know he has a lot of good plans on the horizon. So I wanted to pass that on. Then also I have for Mayor Jones and members of the council, and this is something I brought up before privately with Mayor Jones, that we could have a city bank. And like the Bank of North Dakota, which was established in 1919, it put North Dakota on such a sound financial footing that during the 08-09 financial crisis and in the years following, North Dakota was perhaps the only state or one of a few number of states in the nation that weathered the financial crisis quite well, where the money that's public funds are deposited into the state-owned bank. We can have the same, where our public money, instead of going to Bank of America, Wells Fargo, or Citibank, or wherever it's deposited, can be on deposit with a city-chartered bank, and then the loans can be directed towards projects in the city, and the interest can be used to help balance the budget. So this is not a new concept. There's a lady by the name of Ellen Brown, ellenbrown.com, and she has written a book called Public Bank Solution, What Wall Street Doesn't Want You to Know. And so I've printed out 7 copies, and I would like to have you look at that when you get a chance. So it's an idea whose time has come. The city of LA is looking into this, and other cities across the country. So it's an idea whose time has come. Lastly, I want to comment on the wonderful recognition of our school district. Having worked in the school district for over 16 years and graduated from Pacifica High School with honors, and then having run for the school board in 2016, yes, we have a good school district. Bell High School and the other schools are doing quite well. The district has received high honors. However, as in anything, there's room for improvement. We have all the wood shops were cut from the 10 intermediate schools. We have 7 comprehensive high schools, and only 3 of them have an auto shop. So we need to increase our career and technical education offerings, increase the mentoring programs, and establish the Garden Grove College Promise program modeled after Long Beach Unified, where every graduating senior will get 1 year of college tuition for free at a community college. Thank you for listening, and please take a look at that article.
Thank you, Nick. That's all the cards I have, so we will now recess and go to successor agency. Okay, call to order, and Madam Clerk, would you like to call roll?
Member Beard?
Here.
Member O'Neill?
Here.
Member T-Win?
Here.
Member Klopfenstein? Member K-Win?
Here.
Vice Chair Bowie?
Here.
And Chair Jones.
Here, we already did oral communication simultaneously with City Council, so we have 2 consent items. Do I have a motion?
I move the motion.
I'll second.
Call to vote?
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
Thank you. Any matters from agency members? Okay, we will adjourn back to City Council. Next up, consent items as we reconvene. Items 3A through 3G. It's recommended that these are acted on simultaneously unless anyone would like to pull any items. Any polls? Seeing none, do I have a motion for the balance?
Motion for the balance?
Second.
Call to vote?
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
Okay, that concludes consent items. Moving on to public hearings. 4A, acceptance of the annual CAPER.
Item 4A is a public hearing. It's acceptance of fiscal year 2017-18 Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, CAPER, and Mr. Robbins is here to give the report.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor and members of council, we're here tonight to conduct a public hearing regarding the city's fiscal year 2017-18 Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, otherwise known as the CAPER, which will, after tonight, then be submitted to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, otherwise known as HUD. Title I of the National Affordable Housing Act of 1990 requires jurisdictions that receive Community Development Block Grant, or CDBG funds, Home Investment Partnership Program, or HOME funds, and/or Emergency Solutions Grant, ESG funds, to assess the activities implemented during its previous program year through the annual CAPER. The CAPER explains how the City of Garden Grove carried out its HUD-funded housing and development strategies and projects for the period from July 1st, 2017 through June 30th, 2018. The CAPER provides narrative descriptions and financial information on specific activities and evaluates Garden Grove's progress towards the housing and community priority needs and objectives stated in the city's 5-year consolidated plan and annual action plan. During 2017-18, the city utilized $3 million in HUD funds to expand or preserve affordable housing opportunities, to support job creation and economic development, and assist special needs groups such as senior citizens, homeless, and those at risk for homelessness. Ultimately, expenditures enabled the city to provide a higher level of service to its low, moderate income residents and neighborhoods. Some highlights from 2017-18 include assisting 679 individuals and/or households with fair housing services, assisting 753 seniors with services and home-delivered meals, reduction of crime and gang activity hotspots in low and moderate income areas, assisting 31 low-income seniors with home improvement grants, providing street improvements directly assisting 4,155 individuals, providing 1 small business loan which created 3 new jobs filled by low-income Garden Grove residents, and providing homeless prevention and rapid rehousing services to 5 families and overnight shelters to help 174 homeless Garden Grove residents. As part of the CAPER, HUD requires local jurisdictions to make the CAPER available to the public for examination and comment for at least 15 days prior to this public hearing. A public notice was published in English, Spanish, and Vietnamese advertising the public comment period, which began on August 27, 2018, and will conclude with tonight's public hearing. The Neighborhood Improvement and Conservation Commission held a meeting on September 10, 2018, to accept public comments and voted unanimously to transmit the CAPER to City Council tonight. It's recommended that the City Council hold a public hearing to hear and issue comments concerning the 1718 CAPER and accept the report and direct its transmission to HUD. This concludes my presentation. I can answer any questions that you have.
Thank you, Nate. Any questions? Seeing none, we will open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on this particular item? Come on up.
Good evening, Mayor Jones, members of the City Council, staff, and citizens of Garden Grove. My name is Nicholas Dibbs. I'd just like to address briefly item 4B, adoption of a resolution approving the issuance of bonds.
Hold on. We're on 4A.
Oh, I
There's a
thought the
public hearing for
was
item 4A.
You're having a hearing for
Yeah,
each.
so we can't, we're not talking about 4B yet.
They're separate.
Oh, I thought
You're
they
welcome
were
to come back up when we get to that
one
item.
hearing under both. Okay.
Yeah. Anyone wishing to speak on 4A? Okay, seeing none, we will close the public hearing. Colleagues?
Yeah. Any discussion? I'll make a motion to move to approve.
Second.
Call to vote.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
Takes us on to 4B.
Item 4B is an adoption of a resolution approving the issuance of bonds by the Golden State Finance Authority as conduit financing for the Sungrove Senior Apartments project located at 12811 Garden Grove Boulevard. And Mr. Robbins is here to give the report.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor and members of council, we're here this evening to conduct another public hearing pursuant to the Federal Tax Equity and Fiscal Responsibility Act, otherwise known as TEFRA. TEFRA requires that a public hearing be held by the governing body of the jurisdiction in which a project to be financed with tax-exempt financing is located, and that the governing body approve the proposed financing. Sungrove Garden Grove AR LP proposes to obtain tax-exempt financing in an amount not to exceed $11 million to finance the acquisition, construction, improvement, and equipping of a senior multifamily rental housing project of 82 units located at 12811 Garden Grove Boulevard in Garden Grove, California, generally known as the Sungrove Senior Apartments. The issuer of the bonds, the Golden State Finance Authority, or GSFA, is a joint powers authority formed to assist local governments, nonprofit organizations, and businesses with the issuance of both taxable and tax-exempt debt. The debt to be issued by the GSFA will be the sole responsibility of Sungrove Garden Grove ARLP, and the city will have no financial or legal obligations or responsibilities with regard to the payment of the debt. All financing documents will carry disclaimers that the loan is not an obligation of the city. The city will also bear no costs on the issuance of the proposed debt. This is a private loan with the borrower and their bank. It's recommended that the City Council conduct a public hearing to receive and consider public comments and adopt a resolution approving the issuance of bonds by the GSFA for the benefit of Sungrove Garden Grove ARLP. Such adoption is solely for the purposes of satisfying the requirements of TEFRA, the Code, and the California Government Code Section 6500. Council's adoption of a resolution approving tax-exempt financing is in no way an approval of the proposed project itself. This concludes my report, and Mr. Costa is here if you guys have any questions about the project. Is Peter here? No. Okay, so then somebody from the GSFA is here as well to answer any questions about TEFRA or the bond financing. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Nate. Any questions of staff?
Yes, I would like to understand, this is a very old building and it's not up to a standard. Can you elaborate how old it is and what is it needed to bring it up to compliance?
You can come forward, Bill. So Bill's actually the one that I'm working with on the project specifically, so he has more details on exactly what's going to be done.
Okay, I'll go ahead and open the public hearing.
Good evening.
For Omar. I did that.
So the project was originally completed in 1999 financed through tax credits. The affordability for the tax credits expires after 15 years after the initial construction. So we're in that window right now, which allows us to invest improvements into the project that will include making it more energy efficient and extending the useful life of the project. Excuse me. Consistent with that, we are going to be implementing a service program to the residents, life skills, anything that they will need in association with the operations of the project that will also enhance the project and the residents' livelihood.
So can you help us understand it? It would make it easier for us to consider, because I would like to see, even though there is no financial impact to the city, but every time we would like to approve on the tax exam, I would like to see what positive impact in terms of, does it improve the quality of for the senior living in that area? In what sense?
Well, it'll improve of the residents of the community. It'll improve the project itself. They'll get new appliances. Services will be provided to the residents because at this moment there are no services available to the residents. In that sense, that the residents will directly benefit from that service.
So the $11 million that we are going to invest in this project is to provide food services?
No, well, the city will not be providing $11 million to the project. My company will be going to an investor or lender and getting a loan to do all the various improvements to the project. In conjunction with the actual rehabilitation, we will be providing services on a long-term program. In addition, we will be extending the affordability for another 55 years for the project, for the community and its residents.
That's what I'm trying to understand. I understand the city doesn't loan $11 million. I understand you going out and get a loan from another institution, and you would like to ask for the tax exam or some other status, so that you can go out and get the loan to the bond and things like that. So in order for me to vote yes, I would like to understand what is the exact benefit, because you said that it will benefit the seniors, but it's so vague to me. I don't know. I don't have a feel for what benefit the senior will be getting. You say it will be improved, but what is it that we are going to improve? For example, if I want to come and ask my wife, hey, can you give me, can we put aside family fund, let's say $20,000 to do a remodeling? My wife said, okay, what are we going to remodel? So I would like to know that.
Will be, well, it's not finalized. We have a tentative scope which will replace all of the appliances with more energy efficiency appliances. We'll be painting the exterior of the building. We'll be improving some of the landscaping with more water conservation matters. We'll be improving walkways, replacing or repairing concrete as needed to ensure that the safety of the residents are there. Let's see, replacing exterior lighting with LED, replacing light poles that have been worn because of rust and just aging, wood rot where it's needed due to termite or just the life of the project.
Okay. All right, I got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Anyone else wishing to speak? Looks like we got a couple. Charles, please come forward.
Now, I believe this is the structure on Garden Grove Boulevard that has given us a bad reputation for having something that can be seen from the freeway. Am I correct?
No,
This
it's
is
not
something
correct.
else.
This is the old Me and Ed's Pizza next to the hospital. You remember Me and Ed's Pizza?
I wish it was that one instead.
Yeah, no, sorry. Okay, Nick, you're up again.
Mayor Jones, members of the council, city staff, citizens of Garden Grove, my name is Nicholas Dibbs, and I just want to make a couple of comments. I think it's very good that we have this type of a project that helps improve the city, helps improve the property, and provide housing. As I understand it from the agenda, it says senior apartments, Sungrove Senior Apartments, meaning, and I don't know the answer to this, but I'm assuming there's some sort of low-cost housing for the seniors. I'm hoping that that's the case, that it's not just any senior, but if it's seniors that are on limited income. I don't know if you can give me an answer on that.
Yeah, I can. So the projects consist of 82 units. In addition to, maybe a manager's unit, so maybe 81 of the units will all 100% be restricted for low-income seniors at a restricted rent as well.
Okay.
Roughly 60% and lower of the area median income is what the rent that they'll pay, and they have to also be low-income residents to qualify to live there as well.
Okay, very good. Thank you. I'm also, besides being a teacher and an educator for many years, I'm also CEO of a church in Long Beach, and I encounter seniors who are often looking for housing. And whether it's in Long Beach or Garden Grove, I think all of us recognize that there's a shortage of housing, affordable housing, especially for seniors who are on a limited and fixed income. So I applaud this project for hopefully moving forward. And because the project is vital to provide low-income housing to seniors, it's obvious that we need more of these projects. And so I just want to reiterate that in that vein of doing this for other projects as well, not necessarily floating bonds, which are tax exempt, that might be in the mix. But again, what I said during the public comment is the public bank solution, ellenbrown.com, ELLEN Brown.com. The public bank solution, what Wall Street doesn't want you to know. And this provides an opportunity, a different way, or a different stream of income that we don't have at the moment, so that our public funds from the city can go into a city chartered bank, and then those funds can be loaned out for projects such as this, or to other projects where we need low-income housing, or where we need temporary shelters, or whatever is needed in the city, and taking advantage, instead of letting the private banks get the city money, let's use it here at home with our own bank. So thank you for listening to that suggestion, council members and staff and the public, and let's do more of these projects and bring on board eventually a city chartered bank. And in that vein, I'll ask the council, either at this meeting or at another meeting, if you'll please put it on the agenda, or ask the staff to look into this and come back with a report to you as to the viability of having a city chartered bank. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. Anyone else wishing to speak on 4B? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. Colleagues, any other comments or?
Yeah, just before we vote, I would like to staff to clarify for me, if assuming that we approve this request, and that someone will lend the developer $11 million via bonds, can they use that part of that money to do something else, rather than equipping and remodeling and rehabilitating these buildings?
So the money that comes to the developer via the bonds is part of an application to the state for the funds. And in the application, they have to list the specific scope of work, exactly what's going to be done, the set-aside amounts for the different affordability levels of the units, the affordability levels of the income of the residents, and all those things are then monitored on an annual basis and upon completion of the project. So the money specifically is actually line itemed before they even get the money. And then They're checked up on by the state, not only at the end of the project when it's completed, but annually after that for 55 years. So no, the short answer is no, they can't use it for whatever they want. It has to be what's on the application.
Cannot be used to buy a Rolls Royce, right?
No, sir.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, I will make a motion to adopt the resolution approving the issuance of the bonds by the GSFA.
Second.
Call the vote.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
Okay, it takes us on to item 5, commission and committee matters.
Item 5A is an appointment to the Downtown Commission. There was a vacancy notice for the Downtown Commission that was published following the resignation of Andrew Halberstadt. He was a tenant representative from the former Main Street Commission, and that was renamed the Downtown Commission. And the city clerk's office has since received 3 applications from the following people who are owners and/or tenants within the Main Street Assessment District Number 1. That's James Sherbel, John Weider, and Angel Zaragoza. So pursuant to Municipal Code Section 23220, the Downtown Commission shall consist of 7 members. The membership shall consist of at least 6 property owners and/or tenants of businesses within the Main Street Assessment District Number 1. 1 member may be at large. Pursuant to Municipal Code Section 23230 and Government Code Section 40605, members of the Downtown Commission shall be appointed by the mayor, subject to approval by the City Council.
Thank you. Okay, so I asked to put this on the agenda. It's been quite some time, over a year, maybe coming up on 2 years since Andrew Halberstadt resigned. So it's been a while. We've had a vacancy.
Since September 2017.
Okay. Yeah, a year. Okay.
1 week, sorry.
Anyway, so that's been vacant. I got reminded recently that we had that vacancy and we should move forward on it. So I just want to, on a high level, say that we had renamed this commission at one point around that time to the Downtown Commission. That's exciting to me when we look forward at the future of this area, because we've got steelcraft and cottage industries and just a whole lot of new stuff going on that's kind of augmenting the borders of our downtown. So I would still like to come back at some point in time and revisit how we could augment the scope of the Downtown Commission to reflect not just linear footages along Main Street, but maybe kind of be broadened and get a wider base and a deeper budget to be able to do some programming and other elements of kind of reimagining our city in the right direction going forward. But at this time, I put this up, and I would actually like to nominate Jim Sherbel to fill the vacant seat on the commission. Comments, questions? Otherwise, we can call the vote.
Do we need to make a motion?
Oops,
I motion, she second, yeah.
I was on the wrong button, sorry.
Psych.
Okay.
That was probably the first one. That was the first.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
That was the first vote where it glitched, yeah.
There you go, there you go.
There you go. Yep.
Sorry, you got 7 yeses for
Yeah.
Okay, items for consideration, 6A.
Item 6A is approval of the grant agreement for participation in the 2018-2019 Office of Traffic Safety, OTS Selective Traffic Enforcement Program, STEP, to implement DUI CDL checkpoints and selective traffic enforcement operations. And I believe a police officer is here to give the report.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name is Lieutenant Patrick Gilday. I'm filling in for Chief Elgin tonight. Our objective is to obtain City Council approval to appropriate funds for an existing contract. Oops, wrong one. Our objective is to obtain city council approval to participate in the traffic safety grant program through the California Office of Traffic Safety, otherwise known as OTS. Through the proposed grant, the city is eligible to receive $300,000 in federal funds to implement DUI and California driver's license checkpoints and participate in selective enforcement operations. The background of this: the California Office of Traffic Safety awards grants to local law enforcement agencies through the University of California, Berkeley Traffic Safety Center. These one-year grants begin October 1st of this year and will end September 30th, 2019. The Garden Grove Police Department has applied for and received similar grants dating back to 1996. The grant that was applied for this year focuses on the reduction of persons killed and injured in alcohol-involved crashes by using best practice strategies. These strategies include driving under the influence, driver's license checkpoints, driving under the influence saturation patrols, warrant service operations, stakeout operations, a hot sheet program designed to locate traffic offenders, educational presentations to schools and community groups, as well as court stings. The police and finance departments will be responsible for providing the necessary reporting to fulfill the goals and objectives of the grant. There is no impact to the general fund. The total amount for the 2018-2019 grant will be $300,000. There is no requirement to hire additional personnel, and there are no out-of-pocket expenses. There is neither cost nor income to the city based upon participation in this grant. It is our recommendation that the City Council authorize participation in the Selective Traffic Enforcement Program, accept the Office of Traffic Safety grant funds in the amount of $300,000, authorize the Finance Director and City Manager to execute the grant agreement on behalf of the city, and allocate these grant monies to fund selective traffic enforcement operations.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions, comments? Go for it.
Just a quick question out of curiosity. You mentioned saturation patrol. What's that?
So basically what happens is the police department will designate certain dates, typically around holidays, Super Bowl, or other dates during the holidays when we have found through our research that there's more drunk drivers on the streets. And what they'll do is they'll pair officers up, put them in a police car, and have multiple officers go out and basically saturate the city looking for drivers that are under the influence of drugs or alcohol.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Call to vote.
Who was that? I'm sorry, who motioned? Was that you? Okay. And Chris, thank you. Motion received, 7 yes votes.
All right, 6B.
Item 6B is award of contracts to Superior LLC and Schaefer Consulting, Inc. for Enterprise Resource Planning, ERP software solutions, and approve renewal of the contract with OpenGov to provide transparency.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of council, just a couple quick comments before I introduce our staff to speak about this item. I know you, but more for the members of the public, our financial system here in the city of Garden Grove is more than 40 years old. We're holding it together with duct tape and, Elmer's glue and some other stuff. So we're doing our best, but it's a long past, its effectiveness. So just to reiterate, last year during our budget, the City Council, we're very grateful that the City Council approved allowing us to move forward with funding for the first phase of this project, which is basically replacing our financial system. And then if you will remember, there is a second phase to this project that includes replacing our payroll system and our HR system. That second phase will not come to you until the next 2-year budget cycle next year. So what we have before you today is all the work that we've done over the past year in getting a contract ready to come forward, executing the funding of the first phase of this project for the project to go into effect. So with that, I'm going to introduce Ellis Chang in the Finance Department and Anand Rao, our IT department to, I think they have a brief PowerPoint presentation to walk you through the project.
Thank you, City Manager. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Before you this evening are contracts for Schaefer Consulting, which require your approval to enable the city to move forward with implementing a new enterprise resource planning software system. Tonight, I will be presenting some background information as to why the city's current system needs to be replaced, the ERP software vendor selection process and the selected vendor, Superion for its one solution and third-party software solutions, costs to be incurred during each implementation phase, and the current existing appropriation. And lastly, staff recommendations. The city's current financial and human resource system was developed over 40 years ago and has been maintained by in-house IT staff who have implemented increasingly complicated processes based on requests from the finance and human resource departments. Due to system limitations, finance and human resource staff have also needed to create numerous unwieldy manual processes to continue ongoing operations. There are also a number of risks associated with the existing system. The current system is obsolete. Every municipality in the state has completed at least 2 ERP implementations or upgrades over the past 40 years. Also, there are no other municipalities on the city's current system. The current system lacks industry standard features such as internal controls, modern security protocols, and integration. It also does not utilize best practices. There are also significant hiring and retention challenges. Due to the age of the system, it is incredibly difficult to hire IT staff with experience maintaining it. Prior to working at Garden Grove, no finance or human resource staff have experience using it, making the learning curve steep and lengthy. Implementation of a new ERP software solution will leverage modern technology to enhance operational efficiency, facilitate transparency, enhance internal controls, and integrate administrative business functions. City staff and Schaefer Consulting developed a two-step vendor evaluation process. In step 1, city staff evaluated and ranked the 7 proposals received based on functional requirements, the company and its experience, cost, and implementation methodology. The top 3 vendors moved on to step 2 of the evaluation process. Their scores were carried over and assigned a 25% weighting. In step 2, the top 3 vendors were invited to present their proposed software solutions according to City Develop's demonstration scripts. These scores were then assigned a 75% weighting. The highest overall scoring vendor is Superion for its proposed best-of-breed software solution. Implementation will occur over 2 phases. Is it showing up? I can't tell. Implementation will occur over 2 phases. Phase 1 primarily consists of implementation of the financial component units. Phase 2 consists of implementation of the human resource and payroll component units. As seen in Chart 2, the estimated cost of Phase 1 is about $3.7 million, and the estimated cost of Phase 2 is about $2.3 million. Thus, the total one-time estimated cost to be incurred during the 33-month implementation timeframe is approximately $5.96 million. Chart 2 also provides the total estimated one-time project cost by product and service and provides the base annual renewal support terms, subscription, and maintenance fees. Superion's one solution and its related third-party solutions are not to exceed $3.1 million. Schaefer Consulting's professional services contract is estimated to cost approximately $1.3 million. The total cost of both contracts over both implementation phases is not to exceed about $4.4 million. As the city's current data center is at near capacity, the city needs to purchase new data resources on which the ERP software solution will operate. These hardware and software resources are estimated to cost $554,000. During implementation, city staff need to ensure that ongoing operations continue while taking on additional implementation tasks. While core implementation staff members will be mostly affected, staff from every department will need to participate in some components of implementation, whether it be workflow design, testing, or end-user training. Staff overtime and other administrative costs are estimated to be about $930,000 over the 33-month implementation timeframe. Lastly, OpenGov provides an interactive web application to provide graphic reporting of financial and budget information. As the OpenGov contract was not renewed as part of the fiscal year 18-19 budget cuts, the city is requesting direction from council as to whether the city should enter into a new contract with OpenGov. OpenGov is estimated to cost $20,000 per year with annual escalations. Should council want to move forward with OpenGov, the OpenGov contract will take place in phase 2. Council had previously appropriated an initial $3 million to begin the ERP project. $2 million was appropriated in fiscal year 17-18, and $1 million was appropriated in 18-19. Currently appropriated funds are sufficient to begin implementation and to substantially complete phase 1. City staff will request additional appropriations to complete the project during the fiscal year 19-20 and 2021 biennial budgetary process. Ongoing annual subscription and maintenance fees will be appropriated in future budgetary periods. It is recommended that City Council award a contract to Superion and its related third-party solutions, authorize the city manager or his designee to execute the Superion, BMI, Cry Wolf, Iron Mountain, and Time Clock Plus agreements, including annual renewal support terms as outlined in the agreements, subject to future budget allocations, and make minor modifications to the contracts as needed. And terminate the current contract with Schaefer Consulting and award a new contract to Schaefer Consulting for ERP implementation and look-back consulting services as outlined in the new contract. Authorize the city manager or his designee to execute the Schaefer Consulting contract and make minor modifications as needed. And authorize the city manager or his designee to enter into a contract with OpenGov and make minor modifications as needed. And authorize the finance director or his designee to issue necessary purchase orders or contracts to Superion, BMI, Cry Wolf, Iron Mountain, Time Clock Plus, and Schaefer Consulting for the ERP software and implementation costs in a fixed amount collectively not to exceed $4,433,985 until project completion, and to be divided between Superion and its related third-party solutions and Schaefer Consulting as needed. And authorize the city manager or his designee to increase the Schaefer Consulting contract amount by an equal reduction in the Superion agreement not to exceed amount as needed. And authorize consolidation of the currently appropriated $3 million ERP costs by approving the transfer of these funds and transfer of these budget appropriations from the general purpose, water, sewer, and refuse funds to the Information Technology Internal Service Fund. Staff and the following representatives from Superion and Schaefer Consulting are available for any questions council may have. From Superion, we have Brian Pagels, Vice President of Sales, and Bruce Duncombe, Senior Account Executive. And from Schaefer Consulting, Nancy Schaefer, Engagement Manager, and Iris McGee, Senior Business Consultant.
Thank you, Ellis. Any questions of staff?
And Mr. Mayor, before just getting into questions, the staff also want to take this opportunity to thank Councilman Bowie for his assistance throughout this process. Councilman Bowie served as the oversight committee to the work of the steering committee that did this. We had a number of meetings, and I must say that his participation in the process was extremely helpful to us, some of his experience in this area, and so we're thankful to him for his work.
Right. May I have an opportunity to say a few words on this project?
Please.
First of all, I would like to thank you, the mayors and colleagues, in entrust me with the task of the oversight committee. My role in the oversight committee is to provide guidance, and I was not involved in scoring the vendors, and I'm not involved in contract negotiation, nor selecting the vendor. My role is to provide guidance to staff in terms of how the practice that we should do in terms of what are we looking for in a software vendor, what kind of criteria should we be looking for. And in doing so, I am surprised to understand, even though I know, but it will never been visible to me, that our city have never done anything like this. Even close to 10% of what we are engaging in this kind of project. We deal with various software purchase, what the industry refer to as COT, off the sale product. And so we are not, our staff have not been equipped to handle a project this big. Any software implementation that is more than $1 million is considered complex and hard. And so I would like to commend the staff for the good work that they put in. And fortunately, we have a few staff that came from a very formal consulting firm, Accenture, which is one of the largest IT and management consulting. So they are able to follow the guidance that I provide. And I also would like to commend our city attorney. He have never had to deal with this kind of software practice, standards, agreements, and so on. And so when I point him to the state contract model, he is able to work very, very hard in order to come up to speed and come up with a set of standards that will allow us to conduct a negotiation with various vendors. This project is not, this item that we are approving is not new. This budget is already approved years ago that we tacked about $5 million plus or minus in order to replace the old financial system and bring in other systems such as police systems, and we call that as an ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning, which is the software and the infrastructure that allow a large corporation in order to manage their business. This is so critical because PIC operating system, which is the financial system that we use to base on, is about 40 years old. And in software standard, that's like 300 years old to a human life being. With software being become obsolete in about every 10 years, you can see we are living dangerously on something that if it is collapse, we have no expertise in the industry to help restoring that system. If the financial system is broken, we will not be able to pay our staff. We will not be able to pay our vendors. There's nothing we can do. And that would bring the city to a standstill. So we see that we are really blessed that nothing has happened over the last 10 years. And so I would like to thank the council for recognizing that and put aside the money, even though we are facing a deficit, but we can no longer wait. I also would like to thank you, Sapphic Consulting and Superior, for your flexibility in negotiating the contract with us. It is important to this council because we are still considered a small to medium-sized city. We cannot afford the mishap if this thing is not completed on time and on budget. And so we do thank you. Over the past few months, staff have to put together new standards, practice, agreements, all kind of things so that we can use that to guide this project. A project like this requires a very formal software development life cycle, which go all the way from business requirement analysis to system analysis and design. And then it will be go into implementation and finally testing. Most of the projects that I involved with the state over the past 22 years failed because it failed during the business requirement, business analysis, and it failed during the testing. we usually are very successful with the implementation phase. And therefore, while staff and SAFR and Superior was able to negotiate and reduce the cost of software licensing, and would bring the cost down by a couple $100,000. But as I look at the risk, I see that we do not have enough focus on business requirements, where we need to bring our subject matter expert into that early phase of the project in order to make sure that whatever we build meet the business needs. And also, we do not have sufficient resources from staff to do the testing. Now, we understand that staff is stretched to the maximum. So if we are asking them to continue to do their works, while they are working on testing this software day and night during the couple months before production live, it is not feasible. And so we were relying on staff volunteering to work, and I don't think that model will be able to be successful. So I asked the city management to look into putting the appropriate budget in order to pay for staff overtime to do the proper testing. And that's why, even though in the beginning we target $3 million, and we were able to save a couple $100,000 by negotiating the licensing with Superior, but we then have to budget more money in order to do the work right in the beginning and to do the proper testing. And that's why you see in the end the cost is being estimated and budgeted at about $3.6 million. We may not need all of that, but I think it is very important for the council to understand that this is not something that we can take lightly, and so we need to budget the right amount of money for it. I do not want to face the issue where closer to the end of the project that we have to come back to this council and ask for more times or more money, and basically this is what it entails.
Great. Thank you, Fat, for all your involvement in it. Any other questions or comments?
Just a general question, that's related to efficiency, so any guesstimate or estimate of how much staff time it will save and efficiency from that point of
I
view?
think the workload overall for the entire organization will actually increase because we'll be collecting more data in order to feed into the system, but the workload should be dispersed throughout the organization. So at this time, I think it's a little bit difficult to assess because most of our processes are kind of very manually driven and they're extremely time intensive. I think over the long run, we should be able to automate a lot of processes, so it should save time over the next couple of years.
Okay.
And we'll have a better idea of what our staffing resources will be needing to be at that time.
Okay.
Yes. May I interject in saying that you're right. A project this complex is very difficult to determine the cost benefit, and that part will be done right after we done the initial business analysis. It will be then that once we document the current process, the efficiency of the current process, and the to-be process, that will be where we can estimate how much time do we save in terms of doing certain work, how much time it will be increasing doing certain work because of, for example, taking more data. So I can see that that during the at the end of the business requirement and functional analysis, we will be able to report to the council the cost benefit involved in it, and at that time we will be able to give you a picture of when do you expect to get a return of the investment.
Okay, thanks for the TED Talk.
Any other questions or comments?
I'll make a comment, just a comment. So it's extremely important that we do this, and the cost of not doing it well outweighs the cost that we're looking at here. So we've all been entrenched in this for a couple of years, so I'm sure our staff and even us up here know the real situation where we need to get this done and get us in the 21st century here in Garden Grove. Thank you.
That, would you care to make the motion?
I would like to make a motion to approve this request.
My screen just went up.
I'll second it.
Probably.
There we go.
Come on.
His turn.
You want to do a roll call on that one?
Councilmember O'Neill.
Yes.
Councilmember T-Win.
Yes.
Councilmember Bowie.
Yes.
Councilmember Klovenstein.
Yes.
Councilmember Kim Wynn.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Beard.
Yes.
Mayor Jones.
Yes.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
Where we at?
6C.
Okay, 6C.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
Item 6C is adoption of a resolution to approve a 180-day wait period exemption to hire a retired annuitant. And Ms. Lee is here to give the report.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. The item before you is to request an adoption of a resolution to approve a 180-day wait period exemption to hire a retired annuitant. CalPERS requires a 180-day waiting period to hire a retired annuitant, except in the case of public safety officer. For a vacant position such as fire chief, CalPERS allows an exemption of the 180-day waiting period and requires a resolution by the governing body. Fire Chief Tom Schultz has given notice to the city of his planned retirement date of September 14, 2018. The city is in a crucial time of assessing the benefits of contracting with OCFA for fire service, as well as educating and answering the public safety questions for the community-related Measure O. During this time, it is essential that the city maintain leadership and continuity. Fire Chief Schultz has agreed to continue in the capacity of interim fire chief as a retired annuitant. The offer letter to Tom Schultz for the position of interim fire chief is attached. As a retired annuitant, interim fire chief Schultz will receive an hourly wage equal to his current pay step and will not receive any benefits beyond the hourly wage. There is no additional financial impact to the city's budget, and it is recommended that the City Council adopt the attached resolution that provides an exemption for the required 180-day waiting period to hire a retired annuitant. This concludes the staff report, and I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none? Comments? Motion?
I think we owe our appreciation to the chief for hanging on. This is a critical time for the fire department and what we're going through right now, so it's appreciated that he is willing to help out and step up, and so with that, I'd like to make the motion.
I'll second.
Call to vote?
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
Thank you. That takes us to matters from mayor, city council members, and city manager, and we have 2 items listed, so 7A.
7A is an adoption of a proclamation declaring September 17th through 23rd, 2018 as Constitution Week, as requested by Mayor Pro Tem Beard.
Well, with that, I want to thank my colleagues for allowing me to bring this forward. Hopefully, we can recognize this every year. I'm a lifelong learner and a history enthusiast. So with that, I don't think the the United States Constitution receives its recognition every year, but with that, it was established in 1787. I think of my childhood days being a fifth grader and learning the preamble to the Constitution. So it's not a perfect document, but its intent is to make it a more perfect union. And with that, that's our intent. And I'm glad to see that throughout the country, several school districts recognize that and have educational materials. Originally, it was called Citizenship Day, and over time, it eventually became Constitution Day. So I think, again, it's a recognition of a great document that has survived I think we're the longest standing democracy in the world, and that has a lot to do with it. We're seeing it in practice today with the hearings, the Supreme Court hearings and the three branches of government. So with that, as a enthusiast for history, I think, again, I want to thank you for putting this forward to recognize the U.S. Constitution and the whole entire week as Constitution Week. So unless anybody else has any comments, I'd like to make the motion to move it.
I second it.
Got a motion in 6 seconds.
Unanimous second.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
7B.
Okay. Item 7B is a discussion on a proposed proclamation declaring Saturday, September 15, 2018 through Monday, October 15, 2018 as National Hispanic Heritage Month, as requested by Councilmember Kim Nguyen.
I don't have too many words to share on this. I think it's extremely important that we, especially during the times that we have today, to come together and be a city of inclusiveness. The Latino community in our city is one that I'm focusing a lot on, given that my district is one with the highest population of Latino community. And since I've been on this council, I've done a lot of work with our city manager and other staff members to try and promote more heritage and cultural activities for our Latino community. We've done a tour at the Mexican consulate and try to work with them a lot more in order to promote the culture as great as the Latino community is and the Hispanic community. So last year I unfortunately missed the deadline to have this put on the agenda, so I'm really glad that I made it this year. And I've been working with staff also to create a calendar so that we can have all of these different dedications ready to go every month versus, us having to spring them up last minute. So again, just wanting to promote the Latino and Hispanic community and their culture and share that with everybody in Garden Grove and come together and know that as a city we are unified and we celebrate each other's communities, cultures, and traditions, and this is one way to do that.
Thank you. Would you like to make a motion?
Motion.
Call to vote.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
Okay, matters from council members. Mayor Pro Tem Beard, anything else to add?
Just want to thank you again for Constitution Day and for the other event we're going to recognize today. I just want to make a comment how much I thoroughly enjoyed our recognition of the Garden Grove Unified School District. It was such a pleasure, such an honor for them. They do a lot of hard work, the administrators and the teachers, I might add, who I'm partial to one in particular, my wife, so, and the students who apply themselves. And so for everyone, I want to thank them for all their hard work, and I was so pleased that we recognized them again. And just a quick message about September 11th. I think it's appropriate on this day that we should perhaps adjourn the meeting in remembrance of those who lost their lives in that tragedy. So that's all I have.
And we are in fact going to do that, yeah.
All right. Again, on the Garden Grove Unified School District, being a student from Gilbert School and Rancho Alamitos, I'm kind of biased. We have the greatest district around. I mean, some great teachers, great facilities. Everybody's passionate about just, educating the students in whatever they need to do. So it was great to see them all here tonight and be recognized through the nation, really. I'll do a little plug for the Garden Grove Women's Civic Club in Garden Grove. They're in District 2. They have an annual holiday craft boutique that they do every year. That's coming up pretty early. It's October 27th. That's why I wanted to mention it now, so you can get it on your calendar. October 27th at Gilbert and Chapman, the Women's Club is going to do a holiday craft boutique, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on, I believe that's a Saturday. And I think the Fish 95.9, the Christian radio station, is going to be there. Lots of crafts and food. So put that on your calendar for that. And, 9/11, all of us that were alive then, if you know where you were when that happened. And, we just cannot, I'd like to bring back the feeling of that, after that, where we all got together, the unity afterwards of Americans together, no matter what your ethnic background, your religious background. We all came together shortly after that and built ourselves back up and got going again. And we will defy evil here in the United States of America and here in Garden Grove. So today we're honoring the heroes and the people that lost their lives and the family members that are forever touched, through that. So that's all I have. Thanks.
Once again, just want to say congratulations. Very proud of the Garden Grove Unified School District because all my 3 boys are going to the part of the elementary school and middle school. So congratulations. And once again, on September 23rd, we have the Autumn Children's Festival coming up on September 23rd at Atlantis Play Center. So I would like to invite all the all the neighbors and bring the kid, parents, grandparents, bring the kid to celebrate the Mid-Autumn Children's Festival with us. And especially we partnership with Garden Grove, so it's going to be a fun event. Everything free, and we're going to pass out a lantern as well. Thank you.
Do you have some freebie for us if we come? Even for
Absolutely.
us?
We can parade with the lantern.
For the old folk like us?
Oh, yeah.
I just wanted to share that on Monday, September 17th, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. in the Community Meeting Center here across the way, the OC chapter of People for Housing, which is the OC YIMBY group, will be hosting a California housing shortage and what it means for OC workshop. There should be great speakers and great information for Garden Grove residents. So I urge you all to attend. And to touch upon the gravity of what is September 11th, I remember being 10 years old, sitting in my 5th grade class, not truly understanding what happened, but watching my teacher, Mrs. Radcliffe, very calmly get us to sit there and read while she talked to other teachers and figured out how to explain what was going on to a bunch of 10-year-olds. And with that, I want to tie that into Garden Grove Unified School District winning all these awards and being here tonight. They are, for most of us, our parents away from home. Going through Clinton Elementary, Doig Intermediate, and Santiago High School, I can remember each one of my teachers for every subject, for every class, and the impact that they had in my life. And so without them, I wouldn't be sitting on this dais with my colleagues. So, taking such a tragic day and event and explaining it to 10-year-olds and making them feel like things are going to be okay when you're at school stuck not with your parents and not knowing what's going on, that takes a lot of courage and bravery from them, because I'm sure they were in mixed of panic. And growing up in Garden Grove, whether we have shut school lockdowns or whatever going on in our area, they are the ones that are taking care of us while we're in school. So a lot of gratitude and just thankfulness for them, and gratefulness, I should say. So wanted to tie that in.
Well, since everybody's making comments about September 11th, obviously I remember that day as well. The severity and just the shock and the horror of that day. I think those are feelings and emotions that you just don't get rid of. It's been 17 years and it still feels like it happened a year ago. It's unbelievable. Obviously, it's always an honor and a privilege to fly the American flag, but today I think it always holds a special meaning. So it's definitely an important day. Quickly, I wanted to give an update on a vector control issue. I've noticed on Facebook just post after post after post about people getting bit by mosquitoes, aggressive bites, being bit during the day. There is a reason for that. We have a new breed of mosquito that's decided to make its way into Orange County in our area. The actual name is I'm probably going to screw this up, but it's the Aedes albopictus. and it's also known as the Asian tiger mosquito. If you kill the mosquito and you notice there might be little stripes on it, it's white and black, that is the day-biting mosquito. So no more is it just, oh, you might get bit during dusk and dawn. Now you can get bit 24 hours a day, so congratulations. They do leave they do leave kind of a nasty bump, and they itch and they hurt. I won't show you my ankles right now because I have them as well. So Vector Control will come out and do a free inspection of your home. That does not mean that they are going to spray chemicals on your property. That is, if you ask them to do so, they will. Otherwise, they can just come out and maybe they'll show you an area of your home that you never thought to look before, and maybe you have some standing water or something on your property that's holding water that you didn't know about. So their number is 714-971-2421. Give them a call, set up a time when they can come out, and for free they will come and inspect your property. Thank you.
Thank you. Fahad?
Yeah, 911, of course. I can still remember very vividly that day. Myself and a few of my staff were supposed to fly to Sacramento for a consulting works. And my staff called me and said, Fahad, we cannot fly. All of the planes have been grounded. We have been attacked. And I said, what? They told me just turn on the TV, and so I was very horrified. All of us are, but that tragedy unites us all, and what courage this country is about. And so tonight I would like to bow my hat and salute and pay tribute to the sacrifice of all of those that have in public safety sacrificed their life to rescue others, and many others who still committed to, sacrifice for our nation. I also would like to salute the firefighters of Garden Grove. They also are the heroes. They fight many fires locally or statewide to help our people when we have a major fires. I also would like to report to the council that the ACCOC is planning an advocacy trip to Washington, D.C. this weekend and a couple days of next week. But due to the a major Hurricane 5 storm, that trip might be postponed. We will know the answer by tomorrow afternoon, whether we will continue with that trip or we would be postponed to a date to be determined. The purpose of the trip is manifold. Number one, we would like to ask federal to give us more funding to fight crime, more funding to fight the homelessness issue. But I also have asked ACCOC to put on their agenda to get more funding for housing authority under HUD, and also to give more local control to our housing authority so that they can better determine who need more help than others. Currently, we are under a very tight mandate that would be, unless it is involving veterans, it will be strictly first in, first out. And so sometimes there are more people that are in more severe needs, but there's nothing we can do. Unfortunately, because of the hurricanes approaching, so we may not be able to do that, and just want to report to the council on the update.
Scott Stiles, City Manager.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of council, a couple of items. Tomorrow through Friday, the League of California Cities will be holding their annual conference in Long Beach. Councilmember Tu Ha Nguyen, Councilmember Kim Nguyen, and myself will be representing the city at the conference. Obviously, there's lots of pressing issues that all the cities in California are facing right now, issues of local control and budgets and everything else. So we will be there. But also, we are going to be, Garden Grove will be one of about 12 cities that are going to receive the distinguished Helen one of the Helen Putnam Awards. And we're receiving that award for the work of our police department and our Community and Economic Development Department for their work on the Neighborhood Improvement Commission with their work in the Palma Vista neighborhood. So, the model is, those of you that have been around here a lot longer than I have been know all of the great work that was done in the Buena Clinton neighborhood and what it used to be, and we still have challenges, but we've made great strides. And I think, the work we've done in Palma Vista, I know most, if not all of you, were out there and saw some of the work that was done there, is being recognized by the League of California Cities. So we'll be there tomorrow afternoon to receive that award. I think, Mr. Mayor, you may or may not be joining us, so that'll be a nice distinguishment for the city of Garden Grove. Two other quick items. We were going to, tonight, we were going to have a quick item for council to discuss the OCFA proposal. Everybody's working on more information and gathering more data. It was one of the suggestions, I think, that the council made coming out of the study session. So we'll be looking to put something on the agenda in 2 weeks for you to talk about it, give us any direction, ask for more questions, whatever you would choose to do. So we will continue on with that. And then finally, I want to remind the council members that on September 20th, and for anybody in the community, we're going to be doing a village groundbreaking in conjunction with the city of Stanton. It's the village groundbreaking at the intersection of Beach and Garden Grove Boulevard. There's been a lot of progress made in that area. I think it's in District 1, I think. And it'll take place in the shopping center there, which is in the city of Stanton. They're doing a lot of good work with the renovation of that whole shopping center area. On the Garden Grove portion of that development area, we're going to be bringing a Chase Bank, a Panda Express, and a Planet Fitness to some of the property that's on the city of Garden Grove. So that'll be a nice event. I think it's at 12 noon on September 20th. So looking forward to that.
Exciting new project. Wait to see it come out of the ground. Okay, so we had a closed session item before the meeting. The city attorney assures me there is no reportable action. And with that, today marks the 17th anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks on the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Across our nation and throughout the world, people remember, mourn, and pay tribute to the victims and their families who began their day on September 11th, 2001, like any other. Nearly 3,000 people lost their lives in what is now the worst terrorist attack in world history. 2,507 civilians, 343 firefighters, 72 law enforcement officers, and 55 military personnel were among the victims, with countless family members and loved ones left behind. And while that day was filled with overwhelming loss and pain for our nation, from it came enormous courage, selflessness, and love for our country that has only grown stronger. Today, the City of Garden Grove honors all the heroes of 9/11 and renews its commitment to peace and freedom. May God continue to bless their immortal souls, keep our community, nation, and world safe from all harm. Thank you. And with that, we are adjourned.